I think we need to do a show on Ben Shalom. So we spoke about this on Saturday. I'll let you take this one away, Andy. You can go first on this one. So Benn versus Eubank JNR. A lot of rumours circulating. It's interesting how Sauerlands and Eddie Hearn are pouring cold water on it. But take it away.
They're pouring cold water on it as what, the fight's not made, it won't happen?
Yeah, they're suggesting, I know we're all getting a bit excited, but they're suggesting it's far from being signed as of yet.
All right, okay.
And there's still quite a lot of obstacles to overcome. They have agreed in talks, but that's about it.
I'd heard that it was all sorted apart from the rehydration clause and what they were going to allow Eubank to rehydrate to, because that's the big deal for me. That's the big turning point in the fight. I've made it very clear on the show, mate, that I didn't want this fight to happen. I've made it very clear that I don't think it benefits either of the fighters, doesn't do either of the fighters any justice for their careers. Very disappointed, and it's very short-sighted, in my opinion, from Matchroom to make or try and make this fight for Conor Benn. I just don't see the point, apart from the fact it makes money, because obviously it makes money. This fight should be like an end of the career fights. This should be in a few years' time when Eubank's not got a lot left.
Eubank's in his twilight now, isn't it? Come on, let's be honest.
But Benn's not. But Benn's not, mate. And this shouldn't be. This is a fight that shouldn't be happening from Eddie Hearn's point of view. It's very, very poor management of Conor Benn. It's very, very poor management. What happens if Conor Benn gets sparked out cold? What does that do for his career? What, they're going to say? Oh well, he moved up 2 weights. That's why he got beat. No. That isn't going to wash. So let's say the fight's been made. Is it a spectacle? Yeah. Is it going to be interesting in the build-up? Of course it is. Because then the old father situation comes in, don't it? And I absolutely adored them fights back in the day, mate. That was when boxing was boxing, proper boxing. They hated each other. I know that's not quite the case now. They've got a lot of respect, but I still don't think they like each other very much. So that will make for a very interesting tour, press conference, build up. But then, do I really want to see the fight? I still don't want to see the fight. I'll watch it, but I just don't want it to happen, mate, because I don't think it does anything for either of them. So Eubank, okay, let's do a few scenarios. Eubank knocks Benn out. What does that do for Eubank? Does that all of a sudden get him a world title fight at middleweight or super middleweight? No, because he's just beat a welterweight. Let's take it to the other extreme then. Benn knocks Eubank out, or Benn beats Eubank even. What does that do for Benn's career? Absolutely nothing, because what's he going to do then? Think, oh, I can stay up at middleweight now. I've just knocked out Eubank. I'll take on the middleweights now. That's not going to happen, is it? He's got to try and then boil back down. We've already seen, haven't we?
Kell Brook.
Kell Brook boiling back down from the Triple G fight. He had nothing left in the latter half of that fight against Spence. He was done.
All I would say is, at the two parties, I can understand why Eubank's taking the fight rather than Benn. Different stages of the career, a lot of money on the table. But from a Benn perspective, it just feeds everything that I've been saying.
Yeah. Yeah, agree.
What's happening with this management team around him?
It's awful.
Because, like you said, he steps up and what's it prove? And then he's got the issue of weight draining himself back down to the weight he's at. And I can't help but think McKinson's showing him how it's done next weekend when he jumps in.
Yeah.
If McKinson wins that fight, there's only one name he's going to be calling out, and that's probably Benn for the money. So, yeah, I don't know what you think, Sean. I know we touched on it Saturday, but it's a bit of a circus for me. And I'll be honest, that's how I see it. It's a circus.
Yeah, I do. I more for Ben than Eubank if he wins. And in regards to coming back down to welterweight, I will. Well, where you guys have worries, Conor Benn's a lot more dedicated and a lot more of a better athlete than Kell Brook and Amir Khan.
Yeah.
So I don't think that one's really be the problem. I agree. The problem he has if he gets knocked out or has a bad loss. It's interesting that Eddie Hearn said, I think it was yesterday, that Conor Benn's fight is on the October the 8th, and it's going to be paid under it, regardless of Eubank or if that's a welterweight. So, I mean, as I said, per view, and there's about Thurman. But yeah, it's just to bear with this now, and that with them cold water on it.
I mean, they must know. They must know because obviously his training regime is going to have to be tailored if he's going up in weight. And he's going to have to learn how to carry the weight, etc., etc. So, they must have an indication because what's October? What, about 13 weeks, something like that. So a camp normally lasts anything between 13 and 11. So you've got to expect an announcement, haven't you, in the coming days? So Joe in the sidebar says, I don't see an upside for Ben. I could be wrong, but I don't see how he wins. Yeah. One thing he ain't doing is knocking Eubank JNR out because he's got a chin on him.
He's got a chin like iron, hasn't he? And he's got an engine like iron. It's a war. That's what it is. It's a war. It'll be a good fight for the casuals, mate. It's a war. Do I want to see Conor Benn in a war against the middleweight? No, he's going to take too much damage. Eubank's going to go nowhere. Everyone says that Bennett's hard. Well, he's going to have to keep Eubank off him. He's going to have to. And if he thinks that he can, I mean, I love Benn's style because, and I've said this to you before, he's very aggressive. And it makes for a really exciting fight because one or two things is going to happen. Either he's knocking someone out or he's getting knocked out himself. Just like his old man. That was why I loved his style so much. It's just everything is against him on this. Everything's against him. Size. The fact that Eubank's got a gigantic chin and a heart and an engine to go all night long. If he was going up and he was fighting another name that didn't have the chin, then maybe I'd say I could kind of see it if it was massive money. I could kind of see a little bit of an upside for Ben. I don't see one. I don't see one at all. I want Ben to concentrate on moving up the welterweight rankings and fighting people in the top 10.
I would go as far as to say that I think Conor Benn's career is fizzling out. I think it's fizzling out. I think they're messing around with the fights that he's jumping in with. I really hope and pray that you put a big name out that's not Chris Eubank for that fight in October. Because he's in danger of having his credibility destroyed, if I'm honest with you. He's had 20-odd fights. He's not jumped in with anyone who's elite level. Now he's fighting Chris Eubank at God knows what weight. So people are going to start wondering, because especially when McKinson's jumping in. So, them fights can be made. So it smells that Earn's protecting him.
Well, let's have it right. Come on, let's put the cards on the table. This fight is nothing but a cash grab.
Yeah.
It's nothing but a cash grab, and I forgive Eubank for it because that's what his career's based on. But Ben goes on about wanting to be world champion, and Eddie Hearn goes on about Ben's going to be world champion. This isn't the path to take to make him world champion at welterweight. This is not the right move for him to make him world champion at welterweight. Ben's got a gigantic pair of balls, mate, because he'll fight anyone. I've said it to you before. I believe Ben will fight anybody at any time. I don't think he's bothered. I think he will. But he's being protected. And he's being manoeuvred in certain ways. And the way they're manoeuvring him is not good for Ben's career.
So I'll just pick a comment up in the sidebar. Joe says, we don't know if Ben's a better athlete, as he'd been in with nobody. Can't be putting Benn's name up with Conor and Brook. I agree. At the minute, I agree.
Yeah, I think that was to do with, but I mean, out of the gym, you know, it's well reported that Kell Brook put on tons of work on, and Conor Benn's someone that would do that. So that's where I was coming from with that.
No, I hear you, Sean.
Yeah.
I hear. I can hear your side of it, and I can hear Joe's side of it. Let's just. What I will say to what Joe said there is, Kell Brook was in his absolute prime when he went and fought Triple G. Absolute prime, and it ruined him. Now, don't get me wrong. Chris Eubank Jr. is not Triple G. He doesn't hit like Triple G. He's not going to do the damage like Triple G, but it's still a damaging fight for Benn.
I don't think Conor Benn gets near Eubank. Honestly, I don't think it will be a war. I think Eubank will jab and move and just keep him at range and have an easy night of it.
No, see, I don't think that's in Eubank's mind. He's fighting a Benn, mate. It won't be that. He'll want to stand and trade and prove he's the better fighter. There's no way Eubank tiptoes around the ring and jabs Benn's head off all night long. He will stand and he will trade. He'll believe he's the bigger and stronger man, and he'll want to prove it. He'll want to prove it to his old man. Just the same as Benn will want to prove it to his old man.
Well, I can't come up for a case of Benn winning, to be honest. You don't knock him out.
It's a crazy fight. It's a crazy fight for Benn. It makes absolutely no sense. We go on about Eddie Hearn being the best promoter in the game. This doesn't show that he's the best promoter in the game, does it?
Maybe Benn ought to go to the Messiah, Ben Shalom. Go over to Ben. Come on, lad. Go over to Ben. Ben will build you a profile bigger than you got at the minute. He'll have you on at Bournemouth, so you can sell a few thousand tickets. Get on the undercard of Bilham Smith versus Riakpur, the biggest fight in the UK. And then,
to be fair though, Cole, what has he actually done for Ben in the last 2 years? Where has he taken him?
There could be an argument for him going over to the States and joining the PBC stable.
He'd get the fights then, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
It's probably the only way he's going to get them. It's the only way he's going to get them world title fights. And unless them belts become vacant or a fight from a different stable picks a title up.
Then again, like I've said, Ben Shalom, the Messiah who can work with every promoter in the world, get over to Boxer, Conor, and he'll have you fighting on them PBC cards before you know it.